She has arrived, the lovely, the talented, and the gorgeous Lights. How's it going?
I'm not too bad. How about you?
I am not too bad. Now, I saw you just, like, what, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Weird.
We just hung out. I enjoyed that a lot. Nice to see you again.
You too. Now, you rocked out Western for O Week. You were at Fanshawe, you were in Ottawa, you were in Sudbury. You've been all over, and you've been releasing your brand new album. Just came out yesterday.
Yes.
It's Siberia.
I had my second child, and it feels awesome. It's so exciting. I mean, so proud of the record, and it just, discovering this as an artist as we go along, it just feels like keeping in like this dirty secret that you just want to tell people about, but you can't really talk about it until it comes out, you know, and it's just so exciting.
So it's been out since yesterday. Yesterday was the big day, Siberia.
Yesterday.
It's already #2 on iTunes.
Pretty exciting.
How are you handling that success? I mean, right now it's you and Feist dominating the iTunes charts. 2 amazing Canadian women.
It feels pretty good. I mean, it really shows that the hard work and the effort and the continuous desire to evolve and better yourself and better your art and work to make sure that you're always being the best you can be, and it really pays off, and it feels awesome. It feels really great.
Well, you're doing amazing. I actually listened to the entire album last night. Love Flux and Flow, which is funny because you told me when I talked to you 3 weeks ago that it was your favorite
track. And at that point you hadn't heard it. That is awesome.
Love it. You worked with Shad on that one. We're going to get back to that in just a second, actually. For anyone who hasn't heard Siberia, how can you explain this album?
This album, I mean, in contrast to my first one, so say someone's never heard anything, I make electropop. And in contrast to the first one, which was very perfect and pure sounding, almost glittery and clean, and everything was in time and in tune, this one's a bit grittier and a little bit rougher around the edges, but I think in a really cool way, because I always bring these pop melodies and this soft vocal to the table. And so in working with a band called Holy F, and bringing in Shad, you know, to bring in some rap, and then Holy F brought in some grit. That's the truncated version of their name. It darkened it up a little bit and made it a little bit grosser in a good way than the perfection of the original record. So it just felt like the right place to evolve to. It's a little bit heavier, which is also the way things start to come across live, and the things that I listen to are a little bit darker, especially with some dubstep elements and listening to some darker electro stuff. So obviously I'm going to make what I've been listening to and what I love. So we started to apply that to the record, and it does feel like the right next level. It's a little darker, but it's still pop songs. And you can still play them on the acoustic.
I love it, and I love all the tracks on your album. Again, Flux and Flow. You did work with Shad.
Yes.
What was that like? I mean, collaborating with a rap element.
Awesome. I mean, I've respected his work forever, and there's something really fascinating about rap, because their focus is lyrics and groove, and like the way that you can work all those together. There's always something I'm thinking about when I'm writing lyrics, but you can never do it the same way. They're just masters of words, and he is one of them in particular that really stands out, because his style of rapping is just so natural and just kind of flows, and I just really love it.
So you've worked with Holy F, you've worked with Shad. Who would you maybe want to work with one day?
Well, that's the thing with these collaborations. Like, when I met Holy F we met at a festival last year, actually, for the first time, and they were amazing, and I loved what they did, but it wouldn't have crossed my mind that I would make a whole record, you know, with their fingerprints on it. So you never know what collaborations are going to work, or which ones are going to bring out the best in you. Like, it just kind of comes as it comes, and it's just natural. So for me to, like, sit there and picture who's going to be next, I feel like that would be almost stumbling, because then you're, like, all of a sudden expecting something, and then you'll probably be disappointed. Because I've tried some things with people that you thought was going to work, but didn't. But, I mean, that being said, there's a couple people that I love, like Michael Bublé.
Oh, that would be really cool. That would be really
Who knows?
Cool.
We have totally different styles, but
yeah.
He could kill it at doing anything. You know, he's got a great voice.
Speaking of toes, do you have, like, one of those weird foot phobias? You know, people are scared of feet. Like, do you like toes?
I don't, like, hate them, but I don't love them. I mean, there's a couple things my dad passed down to me. His Germanness, his ability to play music, and his ugly feet. So,
oh, okay.
I don't particularly like my feet. I don't love them, but I get asked that a lot, you know, because I wrote a song called My Boots, and I wrote a song called Toes. So everyone's like, you have this foot fetish, but, you know, it just so happens that's what I wrote. And this song's not necessarily about toes. It's not like, oh, look at my feet. Like, it's something else.
Okay. But if you were to have a phobia, I mean, what would it be? So it's not feet. We know that.
A phobia, I actually have been developing the fear of, like, heights over the course of my life. And it never used to be like that. So that's one thing. Do you notice that fears develop over the course of your life?
Yep.
It's kind of bad. But other than that, you know, I've had little, like, stupid things here and there. I remember when I was little, I used to be deathly afraid of being left alone. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and check my parents' room to see if they're there, and I don't know. They were always there, but I don't know where it came from. But ironically, you know, you somehow subconsciously face those fears, and I was the first one to move out, and here I am living on the other side of the country for my family for almost 6 years now.
Now, you were actually talking about your childhood. You had a very interesting childhood. Your parents were actually missionaries. You spent a lot of time growing up in Jamaica, Philippines.
Yeah.
Does that kind of reflect in your music at all, those experiences you've had?
I wouldn't say that the cultural music of the Philippines and of Jamaica really affected it. I don't think I'll make a reggae album anytime soon. But the thing that affected me the most was probably the ability to look at things from another angle and be thankful and know that you can be happy in any situation regardless of what you own or what you have. You know, so I grew up seeing a lot of people with nothing. You know, and I'm thankful for what I have, and know that just my family is the one that keeps me happy through it all. So I look at things from that angle a little bit more instead of this is all about me. And I'm learning more as I go, obviously, but it helps me write with a better perspective, I think, being raised in that way.
Okay, now, and you're saying family. I couldn't help but notice when you were playing the guitar, I'm really sorry to point this out, but you have a very pretty ring on that finger. I don't want to step on any toes, but is there a special someone who maybe gave you that ring? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, life has brought some crazy things, especially over the past couple of years, and it puts you in such a good spot. And good spots come and go, you know. We're in a really good spot right now with the record and everything. I just feel really happy. And the record actually came from a really happy place because of a lot of things that are happening in my life, you know. There are some real love songs on the record, and ironically, it's a happier record than the first one, which sounded happier. This one's a little darker, but these songs are happy songs. They're upbeat songs, you know?
We know all about you now. We know about your childhood. We know your fear of
so
heights.
Exposed.
I know. What's one thing we don't know about Lights?
I save every single tour laminate I've ever had. Okay. Every single, tour pass or show pass I've done, I have in, a drawer. Maybe I'll auction them off for charity someday or something, but yeah, every single one, from the first show to the most recent.
Your name, Lights. We get a lot of questions all the time. What does that mean? Why did she change her name to Lights?
Well, it kind of goes back to a number of things. My last name is Pox Leitner, so it kind of came out of the middle of that, the original idea for the name. And it was a bit of a nickname, and then when I first set up my MySpace page, and I put in a name, it was just kind of yeah, I'm going to put Lights. Nice. And so it kind of happened. And as I walked more into this name and into that person I was becoming, my dad always told me, and he's a very wise man, that if you're following your dreams and going with where your heart wants to take you with your career, it should move seamlessly with your life. You should live your work. And that kind of encouraged me to change my name to Lights. So I legally did a few years ago. And there's a lot of paperwork and everything, but it is now my first name.
That's very cool, though. Who are you? I'm Lights.
I get some looks at the airport. It's great.
Oh, that must be fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, Lights, it was so nice chatting with you. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today here in our Easy Rock studio.
It was awesome.
Your new album, Siberia, again, #2 on iTunes, and it's out now. You can actually get it online, as well as your tour info and your paintings.
Yep.
IamLights.com.
Check it out.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Lights.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Have fun on your tour, and you do have a show actually coming up in Toronto, I believe.
November 25th.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. We'll see you then.
See you then.
Thanks so much, Lights.